to everybody today. This is the day that the Most High has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Hallelujah! I will wholeheartedly give thanks to Yahweh in the council of the upright and in the assembly. The deeds of Yahweh are great, greatly to be desired by all who enjoy them. It is to you, Yahweh, the opulent spirit, the set apart one, the one who has created all things, the heavens and the earth, and all there is that's in it. I come to you, and we come to you as a congregation of people, giving you thanks for the wonders that you have manifested and worked among us, for opening our eyes that we could see, our ears that we could hear, giving us the ability to remember, and helping us to connect not only to you, but to your people everywhere they are upon this earth. I give praise to you and I give thanks to you for life, for health, for strength of mind. I give thanks to you because you and you alone are the giver and the supporter, and you are the protector of your people. In the midst of all that goes on around us, you've allowed us to know I am your protector. I am your king. I'm your redeemer. I am your savior. Thank you, Most High. Thank you, Most High. Thank you for providing healing to those who are sick and afflicted and giving strength to those who are weak in body. We thank you because you've given us a day that we have never seen before. It's a brand new day. It's another day. And not only is it another day, but you have also renewed in us a renewed spirit. Thank you. We give all praise to you. Amen. Shalom to all of you today. It's good to see you and each and every one of you. Glad that you're here. I'm going through some changes, and changes that I'm going through are germane to enlightenment. I have come full circle. I've come full circle. And I've come to understand things that I didn't understand before, but now I do. So abandoning. I'm abandoning all the traits of the Oxenazis, getting back to who I am. Who am I? Well, I am what Joseph was when he went down into Mitzrayim. Joseph was elevated to be the viceroy of Mitzrayim. He looked like the people he was governing. So I'm looking like the people who I'm supposed to look like. Of course, my dear brother Sean messed me up. He did. And started calling me, what? I don't know what you're telling me. My microphone, it's going in and out. It shouldn't be going in and out. Better? Okay, thank you. He messed me up by starting to call me by names that I don't know. But by me being the senior rabbi and sitting in the seat of Mishlei, I kind of think I need to kind of look like I'm supposed to look. You messed me up. It's your fault. But I want to say to the house of Israel, there is an awakening. There is a very vast awakening. If I were across the street today and in a pulpit, I would preach this message from Ezekiel chapter number 37. And I would probably snort and huff and puff and try to catch my breath between sentences and words and sound very, 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 very auspicious. I'm not going to do that. But I am going to set the table. With the things that are going on around us and with the rattling sound, I'm obligated to do what I'm getting ready to do. So I'm going to read it. Ezekiel chapter 37. With the hand of Yahweh upon me, Yahweh carried me out by his spirit and set me down in the middle of the valley, and it was full of bones. He had me pass by all around them, and there were so many bones lying in the valley that they were so dry. And he asked me, human being, can these bones live? Now, I'm going to tell y'all something, okay? This will preach. This right here, y'all call it what they call preaching. This will preach right here. Only you know. Then he said to me, prophesy over these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear what Yahweh has to say to these bones. Yahweh Elohim says, I will make breath enter you and you will live. I will attach ligaments to you, make flesh grow on you, cover you with skin, put breath in you, and you will live, and you will know that I am Yahweh. So I prophesied as ordered, and while I was prophesying, there was a noise, a rattling sound, period. It was the bones coming together, each bone in its proper place. And as I watched, ligament grew on them, flesh appeared on their skin, covered them, but there was no breath in them. Next he said to me, prophesy to the breath. Prophesy, human beings, say to the breath that Yahweh Elohim says, come from the four winds, breath, and breathe on these slain so they can live. So I prophesied as ordered, and breath came into them, and They were alive. They stood up on their feet, a huge army. A huge army. Then he said to me, human being, these bones are the whole house of Israel. These bones are the whole house of Israel. And they are saying, our bones have dried up, our hope is gone, and we are completely cut off. Therefore, prophesy and say to them that Yahweh Elohim says, my people, I will open your graves and make you get up out of your graves, and I will bring you into the land of Israel. Then you will know that I am Yahweh when I open your graves and made you great. Get up out of your graves. My people, I will put my spirit in you, and you will live. Then I will place you in your own land, and you will know that I am Yahweh, have spoken, and I have done it. Now, let me take my subject from the text that says there is a rattling. There is a rattling. There is a rattling. There is a sound of the bones coming together. There is an awakening. There's noise all over the land about who? Hebrew Israel. She's awakening. She may not know what you know and what I know, but there is an awakening. The sound, the discovery of who we are and who Scripture defines and tells us that we are. There's a rattling. There's a sound in the universe. It's a great sound. It's an awesome sound. You know what it lets me know? It lets me know that we are no longer alone. What has to come next? Life has to enter these bones. How is life going to enter these bones? Glad you asked. Through the knowledge of Torah. Now that you know who you are, and now that there's a rattling, and now there's an awakening, you can't be who you declare yourself to be until you turn back to the Most High, His rulings and His instructions, and live your life accordingly. Then you can call yourself who you call yourself, and you can be Hebrew Israel. We're not alone. We're not a nation in isolation. We welcome the foreigners. Remember, he said in his text, remember you were once foreigners in Mitzrayim. Don't treat the foreigner bad. Don't treat him like he's an outcast. Don't treat him like he doesn't belong. If he comes to you and joins with you, he becomes one with you. Oh, today I am proud to know who I am, and I'm proud to know where I come from, and I'm more proud to know that the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov is my King, my Savior, my Redeemer, the first and the last. And I'm glad to know that the prophecy of Ezekiel is coming to life in my daytime, in my lifetime. I'm glad to know that there's a discovery, and there's a rattling, and there's a noise in the land. It's no longer a secret anymore. And I hear the king say, see, I got to watch myself. I might want to preach today. I hear the king say, Yahweh, teach me your ways. Teach me your mitzvot. Teach me your rulings so that I won't be made ashamed. I'm no longer ashamed. He's taken shame off and shame away, brought us back to who we are. Can you hear the sound of the bones rattling in the wilderness? Uh-huh. Just listen. Things are about to change. What does it say to us? It says to us that we're living in the fulfillment of the time that the Most High has spoken to us about in Jeremiah, and that He's spoken to us about in Ezekiel, and that He's spoken to us about in the book of Daniel. The last days we're living in, the days of the awakening of the real people of the Most High. Well, let's get to it. I don't know if we're going to get through all 3 chapters, but we're going to try to. Mishlei, Proverbs, chapter number 4. We open by discovering and talking about this in our opening lesson on this from this particular book. So once again, let's highlight the 4 classifications of people that are spoken about in this book of 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 Proverbs. Let's talk about them. Ooh, I left this on. It may not work. Oh, there it goes. So, what do we have? We're going to walk through this slow. We're not going to try to move this. We're going to walk through it slowly because I want you to get it. A simpleton. Those who have undecided views. Those who have not studied Torah. This person is gullible, allows himself to be persuaded by his evil inclination. Let's talk about the evil inclination for a minute. The document across the street introduced to us a hell and a devil. It's interesting that in the creation of the heavens and the earth, the Most High introduces everything that He has created, but there's no hell. It seems to me that if hell was such an important place in His mind, then He would have spoken about it in creation. But He doesn't. And if he doesn't speak about it in creation, then it doesn't exist. Then up pops this thing that's called a devil. Well, isn't the devil spoken about in the garden? Wasn't that the devil? Isn't the devil spoken about in Isaiah 14? Isn't that the devil? No. No, who told you? Who told you that? This is not the sitcom that used to be on television many years ago. The devil made me do it. No. I want you to stop and think for a minute. The Most High provided for you and I the consciousness of the difference between that which is good and that which is evil. And he gave you an opportunity to choose which one you wanted to function under. When we make up our minds to do something, it comes out of the figmentation of your mind and it comes up out of your heart. The text says, out of the abundance of your heart doth the mouth speak. Therefore, it's not, is it the devil that makes you do good? And then all of a sudden he switches and he makes you do something that is wrong? No. Choices come up out of the consciousness of your own mind. It is what is called a evil yitzhahara, or the evil inclination. My thoughts are my thoughts. My actions are my actions. I don't have a little imp up here telling me, well, you need, no. It's my thoughts. And I have the ability to choose whether I'm going to function in that which is good or that which is not good. That's a choice that I make. But as I evolve as an individual, because I'm not just an individual, I am body, soul, and spirit. And within the context of the three parts, there is a spiritual aspect. Oh, goodness gracious. There is a spiritual aspect of me that wants to and has always wanted to connect back to the source that made me. Oh, oh yeah. I am my father's son. I don't mean District Elder Robert B. Holman Sr. I am my father's son. I am the son of the one who has created me. And the source of who I am has always wanted to reconnect with the creator who has created me. And I didn't know how to do that. I had to have an awakening to help me to get to the point where I could do that. How did I evolve to the point of where I am? I began to read. Read what? I began to read what we used to call scripture. And inside that scripture and inside that thing that we call the Bible, there were words. Those words begin to resonate on my mind, and I begin to think about them. I begin to meditate upon them. I begin to grow in them. And as I begin to grow in them, and I begin to read, I begin to ask questions. I stopped being the bobblehead, going along with what everybody said. I stopped being the simpleton. I stopped being the one who followed the crowd. I stopped being the one who was unintelligent and easily seduced by demagogues. I stopped believing what it was that I just wanted to believe. And I started wrapping my head around the idea of who is this person or who is this spirit that's called God. And I realized that I had to change my focus and change my direction. And I had to get into the source document. I had to lay aside those things which were crippling me. And I had to go to the source. No, I am not a Jew. No, this is not Judaism. No, the ethnicity of Hebrew Israel is Hebrew. So the Father told me, you need to learn how to read it. And you need to learn how to understand it. So when you open the script that's been transliterated, see whether or not it maps back to what it is that I said. And if it doesn't map back to what I said, then you must throw it away and throw it out. Here we are. No longer the simpleton. The scoffer. This is the person who mocks the Torah of the law or the law because he thinks that it can't be proven by logic. This person mocks anything based on faith. This is a person who lacks the fear of El, the Most High, because he does not have any recollection. He has no knowledge of who the Most High is. I submit to you that the majority of people that are going to stick their behinds on a seat in a church tomorrow do not know the Most High. They know of him, but they don't know him. Because if you knew him and if you understood him, then you would be more prone to be subject to obey the things that he asks you and I to do. But you don't do that because you're listening to another voice. You're listening to a voice that the text that belongs to us calls an alien Elohim, a demigod, which is what the simpletons follow. Individuals who are not fully engrossed in understanding Torah. Have no fear of the Most High. Who is the fool? Well, the fool is a person who understands Torah, but he rejects it because it demands that he not indulge his every desire. In other words, what does Torah do? Torah gets in the way. The Torah is ethical. The Torah is moral. So if the fool understands the ethical morality that exists there and it gets in his way, that means that he is in a place where the other prophet asks a question. If Yah be Yah, serve him. If Baal be Baal, then serve him. Why are you dancing and halting between two opinions? If Yah be Yah, serve him. He's not begging you to serve him. He's giving you a choice. It's your right to do whatever you want to do. But if you're going to be Hebrew Israel, then there's a responsibility that comes with that. Which takes me to the fourth person in Proverbs. Those who are wise. These are people who adhere to the teachings and the ways of the Most High. Allow me to hear what the psalmist says. From heaven, Yahweh observes humankind to see if anyone has understanding. If anyone seeks Elohim, where is he? He looks from heaven. From heaven, he's observing to see whether or not there is anybody, any humankind, who has understanding. Allow me, in the same chapter, the Helium, Psalms chapter 12, verses 22 through 28. For I have kept the ways of Yahweh. I have not done evil by leaving my El. For all his rulings were before me. I did not distance his regulations from me. I was pure-hearted with him and kept myself from sin. Hence, Yahweh repaid me for my uprightness, according to the purity of my hands in his views. With the merciful, you are merciful. With the man who is sincere, you are sincere. With the pure, you are pure. But with the crooked, you are cunning. People afflicted, you save. But haughty eyes, you humble. He continues to speak to us. And he continues to allow us to understand and see and know what it is that's necessary to be a part of who he is. Mishlei, Proverbs chapter 4. As we begin to look at this particular text, our text can refer to Yahweh, who is the father of these instructions, as well as King David to his son. So listen, children, to your father's instructions and pay attention in order to gain insight. In order to understand specific aspects of cause and effect. When we look at Torah and what the Most High is asking us to do, when we fail to walk in that, there is a cause and effect. If the Torah is good, and he has said it is in chapter 19 of Psalms, and if his ways are good, then our action should be that every time we see and understand a mitzvah that represents that, we should be trying to emulate and function in the application of it. The first word in this text, Hebraically, is the word shimu, which has the meaning of listening, acceptance, and understanding. So when he says listen, he's saying, I need you to accept. I need your acceptance. For now, verse 2 says, I'm giving you good advice, so don't abandon my teachings. Recognize the need to study Torah whenever it is possible. Look for ways to maximize your understanding. The more we love Torah, the more he was going to be able to protect us. So don't abandon it. And then he says, for I too was once a child to my father, and my mother too taught me as her special darling. Shlomo is letting us know that I'm learning things from my father. My father is teaching me. And he's teaching me, and my mother is teaching me. But not only is my natural father teaching me, these things that I'm coming to learn have come from my heavenly Father. And the nation of Israel is teaching me. Who's the teacher? Who's the one that's bringing this to me? It's the opulent teacher, Mishlei, the designated prophet of the Most High, who said there's never been a prophet like Mishlei. What's a prophet do? What's a prophet do? A real prophet says what the Most High tells him to say. He doesn't go off the reservation making up things. I'm going to tell you today that everything that's come up on you is going to be washed away. You're going to be this and you're going to be. That's not what a prophet does. The prophets of the Most High speak what the Most High tells them to say. I'm not up here trying to be popular. Don't care about popularity. There's not a prophet in text that ever worried about being popular. As a matter of fact, they were hated and some of them were killed. So this is not a popularity mission. This is a mission to help Yah's people understand truth and walk in that truth. So don't abandon. What did my mother and father do? Well, they taught me. And he said, let your heart treasure these words. Let your heart be strengthened as a resolve over your evil inclination. That's what he's saying. Let your heart have a resolve. Keep my words. Keep my commands and live. Gain wisdom. Gain insight. Don't forget or turn from the words I'm saying to you. Once again, gets back to the closing. Don't abandon. Don't abandon wisdom. Then she will preserve you. Love her, and she will protect you. It goes on to say, well, the beginning of wisdom is to get wisdom. Well, the question has to arrive, and you got to ask yourself a question. How does one get wisdom? He's asking me to do something, but now I have to have some clarification. I need to know, well, how do I do that? Well, wisdom, by absorbing wisdom from teachers and using your own deductive ability to seek reasons for what you have learned. Listen to wise people. Surround yourself with wise people. And then, as you read through text and you read through scripture, have some deductive reasoning of understanding in terms of what you're reading. Then it will be garland. Cherish it. Get it. Along with it, all you're getting, get insight. Know the difference between what you're getting and how to make application of it. Embrace her, and she will bring you honor. She will give your head a garland of grace, bestowed on you a crown of glory. Garland is something decorative that is wrapped around something. Thusly, in this case, it is the head, which is our faculties, where things exist. Allow Torah to be garland. It will be garland. It will be precious to you. Therefore, the words out of your mouth speaks words that espouse words of wisdom. Listen, my son, receive what I'm saying, and the years of your life will be many. Now, there's something that the king says over and over in Psalms, and particularly as we read in the 119th division. He says, let me live, and I will praise you. Let me live, and I will not forget your ways. Let me live. And the reason why he keeps expressing this idea of living is because we recognize that in this life is our ability to express and to share with others the value of knowing and living within the parameters of Torah. Why does the king say, let me live? Because he recognizes there is no praise and there is no voice in the grave. Now he says, listen, my son, receive what I'm saying, and the years of your life will be many. I'm directing you on the way of wisdom, guiding you in the paths of uprightness. I am. Who is doing? My Father is doing that. My mother is doing that. My Father, who is the Most High, is doing this. I'm guiding you in the paths of uprightness, that when you walk, your steps won't be hindered. Your steps won't be hindered, meaning that you will not be restricted in your efforts to do that which is good. And if you run, you won't stumble. Hold fast to discipline. Don't let it go. Guard it, for it is your life. In other words, take steps to protect wisdom that you gain. If you gain wisdom, take steps to guard it. Take steps to protect it. It's your garland. It is the beauty, and it becomes the beauty of who you are. Don't follow the path of the wicked. This is the mitzvot. Don't follow the crowd when they're doing wrong. Don't follow the path of the wicked. Those who sin against El. What is wickedness? Well, the Most High defines wickedness as a people who have known Torah. They know what's right, but they have refused to walk in it. Therefore, as we look at the prophets continue to tell us about Israel. Israel's wicked. Where is she? She's abandoned Torah. She's abandoned the laws. She's abandoned the ways of the Most High. She's abandoned the Most High himself and began to follow demigods. It's an interesting thing. Huh. That's what Israel does. So don't follow the path of the wicked, those who sin against El, or walk in the way of evildoers, those who sin against their fellow man. Evildoers are those who sin against their fellow man. Avoid it. Don't go on. Turn away from it and pass on. For they can't sleep if they haven't done evil. They are robbed of sleep unless they make someone fall. For they eat bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. But now he comes and tells us, but the path of the righteous is like the light of dawn. This is a metaphor for Torah. Why is it a metaphor for Torah? Because when you grasp Torah, it continues to grow brighter and brighter and brighter, and your knowledge continues to grow, and you begin to walk in the light, shining even brighter until full daylight. The way of the wicked is like darkness. They don't even know what makes them stumble. They don't even understand that they're in darkness. They claim to be in light, but they're in darkness. They can't avoid the thoughts that contribute to their evil inclinations. They don't have an answer for it. My son, pay attention to what I'm saying. The Most High is saying to us, pay attention to what I'm saying and incline your ears. Think, to concentrate and think deeply. Don't be shallow. There's something interesting about the king. Psalms 119. Take time to read it. Why does the king continue to say, teach me, teach me, teach me? Now, there's something interesting about the king. The king understands his position over the nation of Israel. He understands the responsibility that he has. The Torah says every king should write his own Torah. So as the king is writing his Torah, his life is also flashing before him. And as he's writing his own Torah, he's looking out. We got to understand what Torah is. Torah is laws, instructions, precepts, and statutes. And he's writing these. And he's saying over and over again, teach me, teach me. He has in his mind that there's another concept that's over here in Proverbs that says, don't lean to your own understanding. I've got this. But I understand, Father, that there are different levels of understanding. I understand the surface, but I need for you to help me grasp the deeper meaning of your mitzvos and your instructions. Why? Because I am the king over Israel. And I have to be able to interpret. And I have to be able to rule this opulent nation according to the governance that you've given me. And I can't rule it by policy. I can't rule it by a Talmud. I can't rule it by leaning to my own understanding. So therefore, Father, I need you to continue to teach me. My son, pay attention to what I'm saying. Incline your ear. I want you to think, to concentrate, to think deeply about my words. Don't let them out of your sight. Keep them deep in your heart, for they are life to those who find them and health to their whole beings. So now, what is Torah? Torah now is what? It's life. It's life and health. Your whole being predicated upon understanding that these words, this Torah, is life to those who find them, health to their whole being. So now, if that's the case, and I'm reading scripture, why would I listen to somebody tell me that my source of health and my source of life has been done away with? Why would I? Because I'm a simpleton. I'm following the crowd. I haven't read the text that says don't follow the crowd. That's not the Sunday morning sermon. That's not the Tuesday, Wednesday night Bible class. Because I haven't read that over there. Why haven't I read that over there? Because somebody told me that it had been pinned to the cross, done away with. Well, they took your health and they took your well-being. I'm reading Proverbs. I don't know what you Christians read when you open Psalms and when you open Proverbs. I don't know what you think that's talking about. Now, above everything else, guard your heart. Don't let your heart seduce you to transgress the principles of Torah. For it is the source of life's consequences. When we step outside the parameters of Torah, when we know it, once again, understanding the meaning of insight, understanding the difference of consequences, there are consequences. Keep crooked speech out of your mouth. Don't act in a way where others can speak badly of you. Banish deceit from your lips. Don't let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze on what lies in front of you. What's Proverbs saying? It's saying stay focused. Stay focused. Remain focused. If you don't remain focused, then your attention is drawn away from the principal thing that you need to know and understand. I heard the king say, he said, Yahweh, remove. I need you wicked people to get away from me. I need you removed from me. And then he says, I will not stray from your Torah. What's he saying? What's he understand? Understand something. He's the king. He has been in wars. He's bloodied. But there's a difference. Because he's saying, I need you all. Y'all driving me crazy. You won't walk in the principles of the Most High. You're driving me nuts. I need you to get away from me. See, I'm in a place where I can't kill you. You're Israel. I can't take you out. You're Israel. Oh, I can kill my enemies. I can kill the Philistines. I can kill the Jebusites. I can kill all those. But you're Israel. I can't take you out. Therefore, I say, Most High, They're your people. They're your people. And if they won't walk right, then you have the right to demise them. So, do something. What do I need to do? I need to, when I think about my relationship, wherever I am, in the store, amongst my friends, in the midst of my family, the Proverbs is saying, stay focused. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze on what lies in front of you. You and I can't get to the point in our life where we decide to do whatever's right in our own eye. You lost your focus. You lost your focus. You're not guarding your heart. Your heart is telling you to do something that you don't need to do. Guard it. 26 opens with the words level. Level the path for your feet. Let all your ways be properly prepared. Then deviate neither right nor left, and keep your foot far from evil. Level can also be the word weigh. Weigh the effect of functioning within the scope of a mitzvot against not performing the mitzvot, and there be confronted with the consequences. Every thought, every action has a consequence. It will be good or bad, depending upon what the action is. In this situation here that we're looking at, the issue is to weigh. Weigh your thoughts, weigh your actions, and think about the consequences that what you're doing is going to come to bear. I wished I would have had this teaching when I was growing up. I wished I would have. I wished, oh my goodness, I wished I would have known this. If I would have known this, I would not have made the mistakes that I made. If I would have known this, my focus would have been straight. If I'd have known this, I wouldn't have been in the pulpit preaching when my ways of life within the course of the week were far different than what I was doing in the pulpit. I wouldn't have done that because I'd have had this. I would have remained focused. And I would have weighed the consequences of what my evil inclination was trying to lead me to do. Chapter 5. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Incline your ear to my understanding, so that you will preserve discretion, and your lips keep watch over knowledge. Psalms 37 and 30. So the mouth of the righteous articulates wisdom. His tongue speaks justice. The Torah of his El is in his heart, and his footsteps do not falter. Incline your ear. Keep watch over knowledge. For the lips of a woman who is a stranger. Who is this woman? This woman can be in two classifications. She can be an immoral woman, and this could also be referred to the aspect of a metaphor, which is heresy. How are we captured? Oh, the aspect of a beautiful woman is very taunting to a man. And she comes out in all her array. and she's beautiful. And pretty soon we find ourselves attracted and wooed in. She's cunning. She knows, oh, we thought we had a rap. We thought we had a rap. We're not listening. We're not listening to the smooth words that are coming behind that rap. Oh, she says, oh, you're interested in me. Oh, well, let me, let me bring you into, my house. And she goes into her house and she realizes what you want. Why don't you have a seat? I'll be right back. And then when she comes back, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Would you like a glass of wine? Would you like something nice? And she sits down and she begins, and pretty soon you find yourself drawn into her. That's what's happened to Hebrew Israel. She's listened to the words of the woman who was strange. And she's been wooed in by this attraction of, you know what? Man, they sure look good. I wish we had that. I wished I had that. I wished I could be like that. Oh, my goodness. Look at them. They got music. Oh, my goodness. Look at them shout. I want to do that too. Let me jump around. Let me shout. Oh, my goodness. That looks so good. What God are they worshiping? Let me worship that God too. Pretty soon, I'm drawn in by the woman who was a stranger. What does she do? She drops honey. Her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is as bitter as wormwood, a woody shrub with bitter aromatic taste. She's bitter. Finally, and then, and she's bitter as wormwood, sharp as a double-edged sword. But what is her feet? Her feet go to death, and her steps lead straight to Sheol. She doesn't walk the level path of life. Her course wanders all over, but she doesn't know it. So, now, children, listen to me and don't turn away from what I'm saying. Distance yourself from her. Who? The woman who is a stranger. Stay far away from her door of her house so that you won't give your vigor, your strength. Well, there it is. Let's look at this. So, you won't give your vigor, your strength. What happens when we enter the house of a strange woman? And she gives a smooth talk and she says to you, I'll be right back. And then she comes out all dressed in her lingerie. Let me give you a glass of wine. And now you've been seduced and drawn in. And in the natural, you've given your strength and you've given your vigor to a strange woman. You've been seduced into heresy. To others, and your years to someone who was cruel, So strangers won't be filled with your strength and what you work for to go to a foreign house. This is like losing your life savings to someone who does not deserve them. Let's bring it back to Torah. So he's saying, listen to what I've told you. Understand what the wisdom that I'm giving you. You have embraced Torah. You understand Torah. Don't give the strength of what you know to strangers. I hear a text across the street. Don't caught, don't throw your pearls upon the water. Don't let people who are not interested in who you are drain you of what you have and what you know. Don't let strangers try to woo you back across the street. No, he said, I've been there, I've done that. Oh, wait a minute, I've seen this picture before. Then when your flesh and bones, let's go back a minute. Let's go back. So now listen, children. Don't turn away from what I'm saying. Distance yourself from her. Stay far from the door of her house so that you won't give your vigor to others and your years to someone who is cruel. So strangers won't be filled with your strength and what you work for. Go to a foreign house. That, I don't remember that. That's not 9. 11. That's where I want to be. What's going on here? Mishlei chapter 5, where I'm at. Why am I stuck? Okay. 11. Then, when your flesh and bones have shrunk at the end of your life, you will moan. Oh, now we've come full circle. I've wasted my years of life away. I've wasted away the opportunity to know and learn because I've been hooked up with this strange woman. She has messed me up. How I hated discipline. My whole being despised reproof. I ignored what my teachers said. I didn't listen to my instructors, and I took part in almost every kind of evil, and the whole community knew it. Now I'm ashamed. But now I'm also old. And my whole life is before me, and everybody has seen it and known it. If I would have only paid attention, if I would have only paid attention to my teachers. And if I would not have despised reproof, and if I would have only listened to my instructors. You see, there is a problem. There is a problem. And the problem resides in the fact that I can't undo what I've done. I can repent. And the problem with repentance is between me and the Most High. And the problem that I have with you, you won't forget. You won't forget. You don't care that I have repented. You don't care that the Most High has forgiven me. I'm here at the end of life, and you're going to remember everything that I did that violated the principles and instructions of the Most High. Don't forget. And now you're in this point of the Proverbs. I despised reproof. I ignored my teachers and I wouldn't listen to the instructions. I took part in every kind of evil and the whole community knew it. Then he comes along and he says, well, you need to drink the water from your own cistern. Well, a cistern is a tank that holds water. It's man-made. What's it referring to? Drink water from your own cistern. The cistern has to be filled with water. Water is a metaphor for Torah. Your person, your existence, the house in which the soul resides, has to be filled with the water that gives you life, and that life is Torah. Once you are filled with the source, then he says, fresh water from your own well. Well, a well is a natural source of water. And what does a well do? A well can flow out. So now, out of you, out of the cistern, out of the well, once you've taken in this to you, out of you and what you know, now it can flow out. Out of you now flows the rivers of living water. What's the living water? It's the Torah. Let your springs produce. Be dispersed outside, streams of water flowing into the street. Listen, 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 listen. Every opportunity that I have, when I meet someone who will give me their ear, I let that which is within me flow out of me. And hopefully it has an impact on their life. I hear the writer of Yeshayahu say that my word shall go out and it shall not return to me void. It shall accomplish the purpose for which I have sent it. The water that's in me, the Torah that's in me, I share with others. I plant that seed. Just because I don't see it sprout doesn't mean that it's not going to sprout. But let them be for you alone and not for the strangers with you. Why should one toil for Torah knowledge and then give it to a person who's lazy and won't study? I'm not talking to you all today in the context because I don't know how you function. I see you every Sabbath, but I don't know if you're lazy. I don't know if the only time that your ears are inclined to hear is when you come to congregation. I don't know. I know that some of you pour your heart and soul between the pages and try to gain information and knowledge. I see your proof. I see your works. But why should I labor with Torah knowledge to give it to people who are lazy? That's what the writer's saying. Don't let them be for you alone and not for strangers with you. Let your fountain, the wife of your youth, be blessed. Find joy in her. a loving deer, a graceful fawn. Let her breast satisfy you at all times. There's something here. How does the text go from this to an altogether different thought? What does a wife do? What does a good wife do? I had one. She nurtured me. She helped me to maintain my focus. She helped me to understand things that I thought I understood. She took me to a place in text where the Most High said to Abraham, Abraham, you need to listen to Sarah. I grew up and I understood, oh, what you have placed beside me is my helpmate. She's my strength. Why is she my strength? Because I've given her my vigor. She's my strength. She supports me. She helps me. So let your fountain, the wife of your youth, be blessed. Find joy in her. A loving deer, a graceful fawn. Yeah. Let her breast satisfy you at all times. Mm-hmm. 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 Always be infatuated with her love. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. See, you men that are not married, you miss this this coziness, this cuddling aspect that the Proverbs is now providing to us. My son, why be infatuated with an unknown woman? Look what you got. You got a deer, a graceful fawn. Her breasts satisfy you at all times. You don't have to leave the house to go to a strange woman's house. You have it right there with you. I wish this lesson would have been taught to me. I wouldn't have made the mistakes I made. Why embrace the body of a loose woman? For Yahweh is watching a man's ways. He surveys all his past. A wicked person's own crimes will trap him, and he will be held fast by the ropes of his own sins. He will die from the lack of discipline. The magnitude of his folly will make him totter and fall. Proverbs. Proverbs teaches us lessons. Proverbs teaches us the things that we need to know. Mishlei, Proverbs chapter 6. These next 5 verses are relating to making commitments beyond one's ability that one needs to avoid. My son, if you have put up security for your friend, and if you committed yourself on behalf of another, you have been snared by the words of your mouth, caught by the words of your own mouth. Now do this, my son, and extricate yourself, since you put yourself in your friend's power. Go humble yourself and pester your friend. Give your eyes no sleep, give your eyelids no rest. Break free like a gazelle from a hunter's trap, like a bird from the grip of the fowler. Now, what's he talking about? Oh, you decided that you would be a co-signer for your friend. And you said that you would pay his debts. You've put your mouth in that place. Now, what you need to do is you need to free yourself. Oh, you need to go pester him. You need to go beg your way out of what you have put your mouth to do that you now can't do because you have made a commitment. And since you put yourself in your friend's power, you need to go humble yourself and say, look, I can't do this. I can't, I can't do I can't do. Listen, listen. I can't do what I thought I could. What's the problem here? I've opened my mouth without thought. I put myself in a position without first thinking. And oh, there is an aspect of doing something that's called counting the cost. And now I'm in a place where I need to beg my way out. Free yourself like a gazelle. Trap. Get out of the hunter's trap like a bird from a grip of a fowler. Ah. So go to the ant, you lazy bones, and consider its ways and be wise. It has no chief, overseer, or ruler, yet it provides its food in the summer and gathers its supplies at harvest time. Let's look at the characteristics of an ant. An ant gathers more food than it needs for survival. An ant will not touch what belongs to another ant. An ant stores its food so that it won't spoil. Whatever an ant does, it is instinctive. Since life is a subject of discussion, the idea is not to imitate the ant, but to observe what it does. We too should toil to gain what we can and be diligent in doing so. That's the reason why we work. We toil to gain. We toil to store. It's not just wealth that we need to store, and we need to stop being lazy. What's the Proverbs trying to teach us? It's trying to teach us that you need to store up Torah. What did he say? He said it will be life to you. What sustains your life? Can your life be sustained and you don't eat food? Why is it that when we get weak, the first thing they want to give you is some food to rebuild your strength? Likewise, we get weak when we're not eating the right substance that feeds our soul and our spirit. What feeds my soul and my spirit? Oh, I heard the king say, I love your word. I meditate upon it day and night. I feast upon it. It is the source of who I am. Verses 9 through 11 teach us about laziness. Lazy bones, how long will you lie there in bed? When will you get up from your sleep? I'll just lie here a bit and rest a little longer. Just fold my hands for a little more sleep. And then poverty comes marching in on you. Scarcity hits you like an invading soldier. But I've heard something. I've heard the king say, I once was young, but now I'm old. And I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. Laziness will follow a person to his old age, and when he will realize that he has wasted his life and ability to grow in any capacity. He's grown old. When you grow old, you start reflecting. You start looking back at your past. You start thinking about what you should have done and what you could have done. Don't you think that a number of people that are out in the cold, homeless, don't you think they have recapped the thoughts of their mind? Don't you think they're rethinking, I wish I'd have listened to my teacher. I wish I'd have listened to my instructor. I wish I'd have listened to my parents. I wish I'd have listened to my father. Here I am now, I'm old, and I'm reflecting on my past. Why? Because I was lazy. Didn't want to do my homework. Didn't want to learn. Lazy. Verses 12 to 15 teaches us about dishonest people. A scoundrel, a vicious man, lives by crooked speech, winking his eyes, shuffling his feet, pointing his fingers. With deceit in his heart, he is always plotting evil and sowing discord. Therefore, disaster suddenly overcomes him unexpectedly. He is broken beyond repair. What are you saying? What are you saying, Solomon? Oh, I'm saying to you that a scoundrel, a vicious man, will find his time of brokenness. And not only will he be broken, but he will be far beyond repair. In other words, oh, what is this happening to me? Why am I feeling this way? Why do I have all these maladies happening? Why do I have all this sickness and all this disease in my body and it's eating me up? Oh, you might want to look back and see who you were and what you were. Because now you're at a place where the doctor can't help you, medicine can help you, you are beyond repair. 16 and 19. This is where I wanted to get to. Couldn't stop till I get here. I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to leave this for next week. 16 and 19 speaks to us about arrogant people. People who should have known Torah, who have expressed their arrogance. Oh, we've seen them. We've had them. There are 6 things that Yahweh hates and 7 which he detests. A haughty look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that plots wicked schemes, feet swift to running to do evil, a false witness who lies with every breath. I don't know who he's talking about, but I don't know who he's talking about. Let's look at this again. A haughty look. You act like you've been elevated into the Shamayim to sit at the right hand of the Most High. And everything below you is just, uh-huh. A lying tongue. He hates a lying tongue. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. A lying tongue. He hates a lying tongue. He hates a lying tongue. How is it that scholars of text can recognize the difference between truth and non-truth? The prophet Malachi said, and then you will know the difference between that which is set apart and that which is not set apart. The scriptures, all scripture, which precedes anybody called Jesus Christ, comes over 400-500 years before he even surfaces in the minds of the Greeks. Scripture tells me that the Greek text is a lying tongue, and the Most High detests it. How is it a lying tongue? Because it's filled with half-truths. A half-truth is a whole lie. What are you trying to do, smooth woman? What are you trying to do, strange woman? Are you trying to bait me in? But I've been set free. Because the Most High has awakened me to who I am and what I am, and I've turned back to the soul source. Feet running to do evil. A false witness lies with every breath. And him who sows strife among the brethren. Ah. Oh, we've been there. We've been there. We've been there. We heard the voice of one who spoke so eloquently and read so greatly. Caught our attention. Got us all caught up. Got us all off track. Thanks be to the Most High, whom I said, teach me. Don't let me lead your people astray. He cleaned the house. I didn't do it because I didn't do anything to anybody. He cleaned the house. He removed the distractions. And let me tell you something. I told you this before. Everybody who packs their bag and walks out talking about God, no, 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 no. The Most High wouldn't tell you to leave a place where truth is being espoused about him. That ain't what happened. You just happened to get the treatment from the Apollo. And the Most High just swept you right out. I don't mind being alone. I don't mind having a handful of people. I've been there before. Hasn't changed my delivery at all. Hasn't changed my position at all. I am not dependent upon man. My confidence is not in man. My trust is in the one who called me. And I have enough sense to know who did that. I know. I'm trying to preach now. Hear that voice roll up? I know. I know. You hear that voice? Let me back it off a little bit. Oh, I told you. You see, the Christian church don't know. This will preach. I know who I am. My son, obey your father's command and don't abandon your mother's teaching. Once again, the king, yes. Yahweh, yes. And the nation of Israel. Bind them always on your heart and tie them around your neck. It's a metaphor of things. Bind them on your heart. Bind them. Bind them. Bind them. Bind them on your heart. Why do they need to be bound on your heart? Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So when I open my mouth, out of my mind and out of my heart come things that are germane and sound like I've got some wisdom. My wife knew that I had some wisdom. She trusted me. That when I told her something that was outside the parameter of what she believed and thought, she listened and gravitated to the fact that I trust you with the wisdom that you're telling me. Tie them around your neck. What's she telling me? He's telling me what? They need to be where? Come on with me. They need to be where? They need to be close to me. They can't be close to you if the only time you think about it and pick them up is when you come to Sabbath service. That ain't close. Here, okay, we're good till next week. I told you where I'm at. When I lay down at night and I pray, I ask the Father to do several things for me. I ask him, first of all, to let me have a good night's sleep. Then I ask him to let my sleep be peaceful. And then I ask him, Father, as I dream, I'm a dreamer, as I dream, let your Torah permeate the thoughts of my dream. So out of the thoughts of my dream, as I sleep at night, I'm hearing your Torah, or I'm seeing actions or things that are germane to you. So that my dreams don't get caught up in folly. So I don't have to wake up in a hot sweat, thin, and God, what? See, my heart going boom, 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 because I've been somewhere in my dream that I didn't need to be. Tie them around your heart. Tie them around your neck. When you walk, what will they do? They will lead you. When you lie down, they will watch over you. Yeah. And when you wake up, they will talk with you. So when I got up this morning, I had a conversation. You know what the Most High told me when I woke up? He said, when you get there, turn to Ezekiel chapter 37. I go, oh, okay. I know what this is all about. And he's shaking me. He's talking to me. He's telling me there's an awakening. There's a shaking. There's a rattling of the bones. And you need to get ready to do something. Human being, I need you to prophesy to the bones. Because the bones right now are all caught up in who they've just discovered, who they are. It's like a little boy discovering himself. Oh, I just discovered myself. Jeez. You know. Look, Daddy, I just discovered myself. And so Hebrew Israel now is in the state of discovering themselves. That's all they can talk about. I've discovered myself. But they are missing the greater point. And they don't realize that with the knowledge that they have, they are just babies. And they need somebody to feed them. They need somebody to take them to the truth. For the mitzvah is a lamp, Torah is light, and reproves that discipline are the way of life. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. They keep you from the evil woman and from the loose woman. Seductive tongue. They keep you straight. They don't let you get caught up in foolishness. Don't let your heart lust after her beauty or allow her glance to captivate you. Oh, 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 oh. She can be so fine. You look, you go, oh, I can't use that word. You look, yeah, man, she fine. Don't let your heart lust after her beauty or allow her glance to captivate you. The price of a whore is a loaf of bread, but the adulteress is hunting for precious life. The Greeks, the Greeks want your life. The Greeks want your life. She's the evil woman. She's the loose woman. She wants your life. What does she know? She knows that if I can disconnect you from the man you with and come hang out with me, I can disconnect you from your life source. How do I know this? Daniel tells me that they are an anti-Elohim nation. So why would I want to go follow her? Because I'm a simpleton. Oh, my goodness. What's the loose woman do for me? What's she doing? What you doing? What you doing? What you doing? Can a man carry fire inside his shirt without burning his clothes? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? Come on, what's he talking about? Can a man lust within his being and carry that and not want to set something else on fire with it? Can a man walk barefooted on hot coals without scorching his feet? Huh. oh, 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 oh. So what does he do? He has sex with his neighbor's wife. Anyone touching her will be punished. A thief is not despised if he steals only to satisfy his appetite when hungry. But even he, if caught, must pay back sevenfold. He may have to give up all the wealth that he owns. In other words, there's two principles at play here. The one who's seductive and who has sex with his neighbor's wife, and the one who steals. But there's a Torah principle there that says what? Thou shalt not steal. And if you're caught stealing, there is a price to pay, even if it was for the sake that you needed food. He who commits adultery lacks sense. He who does it destroys himself. Oh man, I, I, I wished I would have had this teaching when I was younger. He will get nothing but blows and contempt, and his grace will not be wiped away. This grace will not be wiped away, for jealousy drives a man into rage, And he will show no mercy when he takes revenge. He will not accept compensation. He'll refuse every bribe, no matter how large. Look at the Most High. Why is it that a man comes home, finds his wife with another man, and he flips? Why is it that the Most High is in such a rage over his wife? And why is it that his anger has blazed up and he's taken them out one by one to get his wife back? Huh. And why is it that the Most High is not going to accept anything, compensation? The only thing he's going to accept from his wife is teshuvah, true repentance, and crying out to him and letting him know, oh, if I lose you now, I've lost the very heart of me. Ooh, baby, please don't go. And there we have the 3 chapters of Mishlei. I say to you, we need to hear and we need to pay attention. There is a book on Amazon that I've written. It's called In Defense of the Messiah. It's not good reading for those of you who believe in Jesus Christ, but it has a lot of information that will help you to gain some understanding as to how it is that he can't be the Messiah in this day of grace. It's available on Amazon, and it's also in Kindle. We ask you to tune in and subscribe to our podcast by downloading podbeam.com and get the app. Look for Hebrews in Exile. It's also on iPod. The worship music that we sing is in iTunes and other aspects where you can download music. Look for Kevin Holman's name and you'll find the worship songs that are germane to what we do here in this house. You will not hear them anywhere else. They have not been written anywhere else. They have only been given to this house. I say to you, Shalom. Yevarekaka, Yahweh, V'yishmareka. Ya'er Yahweh Panav Aleka, Vekanuka. Yasa Yahweh Panav Aleka, Vayasham Laka. Shalom. May the peace of Yahweh be with you. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face to shine upon you and show you his favor. May Yahweh lift up his face towards you and make every day that you breathe and every day that you walk and in every situation and circumstance that you find yourself in, may the Most High give you shalom, peace.